Boxing is ranked the #1 hardest sport in the world. It's super difficult, but it gets significantly easier when you learn these two concepts. Now, I'm Cody from Ring Ready Boxing, and today I'm going to be showing you two different concepts broken into 3 different parts, showing you how you can make boxing so much more simple. This will help you train better, do the right things, have more confidence in sparring, and make sure that you're actually developing your boxing. I've been boxing for 6+ years myself and had about 16 fights at the time of recording this video, and I'm still actively competing whilst I make these videos, so I'm always learning, and I've been coaching every single day for the past 3+ years now. So I'm doing boxing all the time, and I want to teach you what I've learned on how to make boxing training more simple so you can get better quicker. Let's dive in, let's go. Now, the first concept I want to talk about is the name of the game. Boxing is known for hitting and not getting hit. Hit and don't get hit. That is the name of the game, right? So if we break that down and actually think what that means, 50% of boxing is throwing punches, scoring points, maybe knocking someone out if you get that chance to. But you've got to understand that 50% of the game is landing punches. So if you're not throwing punches, then you're not gonna win in any way. You have to throw punches. And there's multiple ways we can throw punches. It's obviously not as easy as just throwing more. It doesn't mean you're definitely gonna land them. But if we break it down a little bit more, I can show you a few things as to how we can land more punches. Now, we've obviously got all the different punches we can throw. The most important ones being straight shots. You jab and you cross. Now from there, you can use them at long range to score points to the head and the body. We don't just have to hunt the head, we can hunt the body as well. That is a scoring target. But if we also look at hooks, uppercuts as well, they're your main 6 punches, and you can always throw these at different angles, body, head, and there's different techniques and whatnot. But let's keep that simple. You've got 6 different punches that you can score to the body and the head. So that's already breaking it down more. If you want to do better in boxing, you have to throw more punches from different angles at the targets to hit them. If you're hitting someone's arm when you're throwing a hook, it's not good enough. You're not scoring points. You need to aim for the body and the head. Something else you want to be looking at is how you set these punches up. Because if you just come forward, steam train at someone like this, they're probably going to defend it and your punches probably aren't going to land. So the best advice I can give is relax and throw them punches with speed and relax with it, and actually look at the target you're throwing at. Don't look away when you're throwing a punch. You know, make sure you're actually looking at where you want to land, and that is how you're going to land more punches. Now, not only do you want to throw more punches with speed at different angles, you want to think about how you can set these punches up. Because if I throw 3 punches to my opponent's head, chances are their guard is going to come up and tighten up, meaning that there's a gap to the body. Boom. So I might throw 3 punches to the head, knowing that my opponent is going to block them, just so I can land that body shot. And that is multiple ways you can land more punches. Remember, it's hit and don't get hit. 50% of the game is throwing punches. So if you're not throwing punches effectively in a smart way, you're not going to develop at boxing. Now, we've talked about the first 50% of boxing. Now let's talk about the other 50% of boxing, not getting hit. Because it's all well and good learning how to throw punches and land them, but remember, your opponent is going to throw back, and they're going to try and hurt with it too, so you don't want to get hit. Now, not getting hit might be something as simple as stepping back out of range, where me or my opponent can't throw punches, but if I step back in just a little bit, I've got the range to throw punches. Your feet are one of the best things for defending punches, but we can also look at things like parrying shots with the gloves, using that guard. We can also block shots with the arms here and down to the body too, and then look at things like head movement and your trunk movement. So not only can we slip here, we can roll punches like this, dip left and right, move the feet with it, step out and back in, couple catches and cover up here. There's loads of different things you can do to ensure you don't get hit. Because remember what I said just a minute ago, 50% of the game is throwing punches, but the other 50% is not getting hit by your opponent's punches. So you need to learn how to string them two 50% together so you can throw shots, but then also move off after so you don't get hit. It's a key thing, because the more punches your opponent lands on you and the less you land on them, the more they're winning and the more you're losing. And don't overcomplicate this either. By not getting hit, that doesn't mean you have to have crazy good reactions. As long as you've got a tight guard and you're moving all the time and you're not standing there being a punch bag, you're already on the right track. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, please drop it a like and check the link in the description if you want to either join boxing school and learn more boxing from me, or get my free 30 boxing tips in 30 days, which is completely for free. Otherwise, let's crack on with the video. Now, that's the first concept of boxing that I've spoke about. Hit and don't get hit. That's one concept that you need to think about, and that's broken down into two different parts. But the second concept I want to talk to you today is going to be that you box with your feet and not your hands. You box with your feet and not your hands. This might be hard to understand at first if you've never heard that phrase before. If you have heard that phrase, brilliant. But if you haven't, when I say box with your feet, what I mean is everything comes from here and up. It doesn't start with the punches and then the feet. It starts from the feet and then the punches. So just think. So from here, I can land my straight shots. Let's say my opponent has the same reach as me as well. We've got the same length arms. So from here, we can both land punches. If I step out, they now can't land a punch, and neither can I. But what I can do is use my feet to get back in range and land my own punches again. It's such a simple concept which you need to try and understand as soon as possible. And I actually think that more beginners, most beginners, and even people boxing at a high level, need to do more footwork training. It's all from the feet. Power comes from the ground up, not the head down. Power starts from the ground up. So if your feet are too narrow or they're too wide, first of all, you're not going to be as balanced, and two, you're not going to be able to generate as much power in your punches, which is not useful in boxing at all. So remember to box with your feet and not your hands first. If you start with the feet, it will help you a lot. Another thing on the feet as well, just think I can move left and right with them and then take angles to get away from my opponent and create more awkward angles so they can't hit me, but I can hit them, and put my opponent in awkward positions, which is super useful. So not only do the feet take you forward and back, in and out of range, you can also step around opponents to find them angles and make it really awkward, to maybe sneak in that little body shot or land a shot on their chin or work around their guard. Footwork is super important. So when you're looking at boxing, do more footwork training. I'm not saying do less with the hands, but I'm just saying do more footwork training and incorporate the punches with it, because the feet are what really are going to be doing the work. Now let's look at how we can put this all together. So you've got to think, we've got 50% throwing punches, 50% of not getting hit by coming punches, and then third, we've got boxing with your feet, which they all string together. They're all very, very similar things, right? So I'm going to show you quickly how we can try this in some shadow boxing. If you've got no equipment, maybe you haven't got a bag or a gym to go to or a boxing gym local to you. So we can practice shadow boxing at home and really improve your boxing skills and habits just through shadow boxing without any equipment. So think when you're shadow boxing, we're not just standing here throwing combinations with our hands down, throwing power punches and trying to look flashy. We actually want to look at moving with the feet before anything. Getting thinking, nice tight guard, then from there you can start adding in the punches, coming forward and then moving off after, making sure we're not staying at the same angle. And as you can see, I'm moving my head and keeping my hands nice and tight. This way I can keep a nice flow and stay protected whilst throwing punches. I would go as far to even say at an early stage of boxing, for most people, again, you'll still use this stuff later on as you get better, but do rounds where you don't even throw punches. Focus on a shadow boxing round where you go, right, I'm only going to focus on footwork. I'm just going to move, no punches yet, keep my feet in a good position, slow it down here, practice moving left and right, little angles there, practicing some pivots and some movement, Because if you can practice this stuff, your hands will just follow what your feet are doing. Whereas if you start off with the hands, then try and get your feet to follow, it's going to be a little bit harder. If you can master these first, it'll be much easier to add the punches in. And then from there, if you want to get better defense, just add that into what you've already done. So now if we've got the feet going, from there we can then start looking at little slips and rolls as we go, turning and rolling there, creating them angles, keeping the head moving. And see, on boxing, I haven't even thrown a punch yet. I want to practice this first. I want to make sure I'm protected before I even consider throwing a punch. If I can't throw a punch without keeping myself safe, then I'm just going to put myself in danger. So focusing some time in your shadow boxing to only do footwork and defense is a brilliant start and will help you improve super quick. Now we've been working on our footwork and we've worked on our defense, now we can actually add in the punches. So if you want to create a good shadow boxing flow, which is actually going to improve your boxing skill and stuff you can practice with no equipment, this is what you want to be doing. So now you've got the feet, you've got the head moving. Now all you got to do is boom, 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 add them punches in. And I want you to think about moving before, after, and in between your combinations. So notice there how I'm pretty much always on the go. I'm not going jab, stay in one spot, or 1-2, stay in one spot. I'm going slip, 1-2, roll and move off. And then I'm still moving, even though I'm not throwing, I'm still moving. Then I'm going step in with a jab, jab, cross, then I'm rolling off and taking an angle. Boom, 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 boom. Mixing it up all the time. Now this is how you can better your boxing skill very simply. It's not as complicated as it looks. You can go away and practice this. I'm not saying you have to do it exactly like me, but if you take all these concepts and put them together, boxing training specifically will get easier and you will improve your skill quicker and way better. But now go away and take these concepts that I've taught you today and practice them, and I'll see you very soon.